Okay, so work package 8. We have been starting off since, yes, maybe some months ago, and it's myself, Jörgen Ekblad, PLM consultant from QCM. PLM is Product Lifecycle Management. And to my help, I have Martin, and I also have Patrick from Aras. Aras is a PLM vendor, so we're using their tool to support the project. And getting back to the project, I won't read everything here, but it's a demonstrator of traceability of product data through the product lifecycle, supporting a sustainable business. And we have been in contact now, and we have Doro, who is developing and manufacturing mobile phones and other things, electronics. And we also have Mickey now as a partner. And this is actually the product, the baby walker, the blue one we are working with right now to find the product data for that product. And I will go through this in the coming slides. So what we say is that the digital product passport is just a tip of the iceberg. Now what we're looking into is to find the product data below the surface here. So we need to dive deep into the blue water here to find the data that we then can visualize into the DPP. And as my experience from companies is that there are many different islands or icebergs that floats in the sea. So it's different also to find the data in several places. And this is the real challenge, to find the master data, to be able to present that in the DPP, for instance. What we're doing now is, people change management is extremely important. We need to talk about why we're changing, why they change, why we should digitalize, and this is an area of, so don't underestimate the people change management in a company when you want to digitalize. We're today mapping the information flow and finding the supporting tools. It might be just a PDF on a drive. We try to find what the master data is and where it's consumed. We look into the data quality, what roles in the organization are involved, and who is responsible for the master data. There are many more things that we are looking into in our work today. And then, of course, tomorrow we need to add relevant information and also change processes and systems maybe, or add systems. Let's see. We need to include sustainability into the business decisions and in the design phase to improve the products in all perspectives, measure and report them. Then we need to look into, of course, new business models and processes to prolong the product life cycle and try to find spare parts management and refurbishment and recycling and all these in the circular business model. What we have started with is we met with Mickey, who is a toy manufacturer and a developer in Småland, Jämla. And they wanted to be in, and we have had very good support from them. So we are using Mickey's baby walker. I think many of you recognize this one, maybe in different colors. So we got one and we unboxed it at the office, and then we have looked into all the parts and all the assembly levels, and the packaging, of course, should be included. So here you have all the parts of a Mickey baby walker, and some are already assembled at the factory, as you can see. Then to the left, you have the assembly instructions for the consumer. This is how you actually assemble the baby walker. And then we asked Mickey about the product data from the factory. And the factory is in China. And this is the first reflection. And this is not only from Mickey, it's from many other companies, that much of the master data is actually in Chinese, because you have the requirements and the specifications done in Sweden, but the development and the manufacturing is in China. So what we got was the drawings in the Chinese language, and then we needed to translate that into English. And this is something interesting, because I think a lot of companies actually have the master data not in Sweden, but at the manufacturer or the developer in China. So we need to actually take care of that also and bring it back to Sweden and have it translated into English. So when translated, we got this bill of material. And here we have all the parts in the product. So it's handles, it's bottoms, it's cables, it's sides, and so on. You have the material on a high level, and we have some measurements and the weight. And of course, this is just a few attributes or description of the different parts, and we need to find more, of course. We also have the packaging, like the printed color box, bubble wrap, plastic foam, and so on. So all these parts we now need to dig even deeper in to find the supplier to the manufacturer. So we're going upstreams in the supply chain to find the information for the different parts here. So somebody has probably delivered the cables or the caps or the lock nuts to the manufacturer. So now it's the time to dig deeper into the supply chain. Now, the EU regulations to comply to for toys, we have a specific regulation. But first of all, the definition of a child is 14 years of age, under 14 years of age. So that is children. And then in the proposal for a regulation on toy safety from July last year, we have, as you can see here, all toys will have a digital product passport to prevent unsafe toys sold online and offline from entering the EU. So we're waiting now for these regulations to actually enter into force. And we got from Mickey, and they have this trade association, Lake and Baby, that the next steps are in the coming weeks. There should be still some technical meetings, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, 20 days later, entry into force, and 54 months later, the new regulation becomes applicable. So it will take some time until this the DPP will enter or be, as say, you need to have a DPP for the toys. Now there are other regulations as well for this toy that we are looking into. We have EN 71, and the three first here is the mechanical and physical properties, flammability, and specification for migration of certain elements. We're also looking into the REACH and other regulations that is for this toy. But that has nothing to do with the DPP, but anyhow, they're already prepared for actually having some data regarding the toy that can be used in the DPP when that comes. For REACH, you have, of course, safety data sheet, and here we can see some information that we got from the Chinese test lab. And here this we will fit into also the system that we're using later on. Variants, many companies having one, of course, article, but then they have variants of this article. And that is also something we look into, how many parts you can reuse, and also if you can reuse the product data for actually calculating the DPP. It's different colors, it's different artworks, and different design. In this case, just one design change. And that will create the variance, but you can use much of the product data and the sustainability data in several variants here. So the next step now, that we will contact the manufacturer suppliers to get the material and product data from the beginning of the supply chain. And then we have a question actually to all of you, what is a raw material? How do you define that? And where do you start in the supply chain to define it as raw material? We have done this information model on the Mickey Baby Walker, and this is the theoretical part, just with the different objects, the different attributes, and also how it's connected to each other. And the next step now is to put it into RS Innovator as the Product Lifecycle Management tool. So all the data we have collected now from Mickey and Mickey's manufacturers and the manufacturer suppliers, we will add and build this structure into this tool. And in this tool, you can, of course, use both a lot of supporting tools, and one is materials and substances management. So, and you can do requirements management, because that is really important also, and supplier collaboration. How can the supplier actually add the product data and the sustainability data into a system themselves upstreams in the supply chain? So we get the owner of the data that actually can put it into the systems. And then you can, in the end, also calculate and aggregate the necessary information to actually produce either an EPD, Environmental Product Declaration, or you can have a DPP or whatever report you need for CSRD or anything. So this is the next step. And then also said that the product structure from with the packaged baby walker up to the right, and the packaging and the baby walker and the bottle and the handle and the sheet metal and the steel. So we need to look into now from the raw material to the steel, the smelter of the steel, and then to who's doing the sheet metal. And then from this sheet metal, you're doing the handle to the baby walker. But we need to find out the supply chain, the factories, and the data that is necessary for calculating the DPP. And then also, as a next step, we will start a journey with Doro, and that's the same methodology. We will try to find and receive the bill of material from Doro, the product structure, including packaging. We need the material data. We need the different components in electronic components in the mobile phone. We need to look into the relevant attributes, the existing ones and the new ones, and then the supply chain setup, where what kind of suppliers they have, and also where the data is managed. That we will start with in short, together with Doro, and we will continue the work with Miki. So this is a simple one we use in our trainings, is that you have data, which is just data. It's 2 degrees. But if you say 2 degrees in Gothenburg, then it's information. Then you have added something. And then you can add more, and then it gets a meaning, and then it's called knowledge. And when you have the insights, it's actually wisdom you can use. So going from data to information to knowledge to wisdom is something you can use in the companies. But you need to start with the data. You need to have quality in the data, otherwise you will not get to the next level. So I think that was it.